Hello friends. The right hand in golf, obviously supremely important. It's our best hand. Now, golf is not symmetrical. The left hand essentially is pulling with the palm looking away from the target, the right one pushing with the palm looking to the target. And they are moving in a way that has the arm shaped and applying force differently. There, of course, has long been agreed that our only connection with the golf club, and therefore they have that additional importance. The right hand tends to want to do things with a lot of power, and so it tends to prefer to grip like a fist, or to put the thumb on top of the club so that you get extra purchase, extra leverage. These are actually unhelpful preferences. So here's what's generally agreed to be a better choice. Ben Hogan, in his famous book, advocated that the middle two fingers of the right hand be a sort of cradle for the club. Interestingly, about 22 years ago, I met Doug Sanders, a very famous golfer. He won probably 20 tournaments on the US tour many years ago and was beautifully clothed. He always wore wonderful matching outfits with purple shoes and jackets, sweaters and pants. And he when we went to shake hands, he was probably 68 at the time. He reached out with his hand in this shape because after hitting so many hundreds of thousands of golf shots, his right hand was essentially molded into this shape. Made me laugh. So the cradle formed by the middle two fingers is the crook in which we put the club. And then the left thumb, which is slightly right of center, is actually covered by the palm of the right hand. In fact, it rather neatly, the shape of it matches the shape of the muscle that's at the base of the thumb, the thenar eminence as it's called. So that muscle goes over the top of it and the grip is in the fingers. Now that tends not to feel so strong. We prefer the fist or the thumb on top. And with regard to the thumb, the forefinger and thumb form what I describe as a Y, a V with a stick on it. The old tradition was to call it a V, and as I mentioned with the left hand, this crease formed by the thumb and the knuckle of the forefinger, if one were to put a sixpence in it, that crease is one able to hold the coin, so it's not open, and also it's pointing up over the right shoulder, just like the left hand. Now with regard to the little finger, we, let's say 120 years ago and before then for 500 years, golf was played with the left thumb dangling down here and the right hand forming basically a fist. Now, Harry Vardon, who won the British Open 6 times, came along and invented the overlapping grip, or what is called the Vardon grip, where he brought the thumb up onto the club of the left hand, covered it with the palm of the right hand, took the little finger away, slid the hands together, and then reintroduced the little finger, hooking it around the knuckle of the left forefinger. Some people, if they don't have such long fingers or slender fingers, will put it on top of the knuckle, but certainly the one he advocated and used was to hook it around that knuckle. Now, that gives one a great sense of power, but wrongly if you slip the right hand way under the club. It's a variant of that fist and that sense of power that we like to get. You're essentially saying that getting a secure and powerful feeling with the little finger is appropriately going to dictate how you form your grip. It's a bad idea because if you reach that finger as far around here and lock it in as much as you can, the strong position, as it's somewhat ambiguously called, where the palm of the right hand is looking at the sky, has some detrimental effects. I'll show you the obvious one. You've essentially put your hand as far this way as you can go. As you swing back, its natural tendency is to turn this way. Now, if you allow that to happen on the backswing, you actually see some of these modern young champions checking the club at this point in the swing, where the face of the club parallels the inclination of the body, and the shaft is looking more or less at their middle. If you put the right hand dramatically under the club and secure it with a very strong feeling with that little finger, it actually rotates the club even more this way, so that the club is looking down at the ground. This will arrive at the top of the swing in a hyper strong position, and unless you correct for it, you're going to blast the ball under the trees on the left. Now, if by chance you are aware of that and having put this hyper strong grip on with a very secure feeling with the little finger, you keep that shape as you swing back, then well done. But the problem is now it wants to turn this way quite violently on the downswing, and that's where some people massively hook the ball. So even though it feels weaker, tolerate the fact that the little finger feels weaker when you don't reach round as far under, and you do indeed maintain the palm over the top of the left thumb. Feels weaker, but it actually functions better.